caught this case.
Okay.
And at that moment, I realized something clicked in me, and I realized that I need God.
Yeah.
I need God. So when I got this case, um, it was a big case.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. It was a big case, and the only one that was gonna be able to help me was
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
But then I remembered also people that had prayed for me in the past would tell me, that everything has to. If I want God to change my life, it has to start with me.
Yeah.
I can't just every other time that I wanted God to do something in my life, it was just me asking Him, but I wouldn't give Him nothing in return.
Yeah.
So at this time, with a sincere heart, I came to God and I said, God, I want it now. I can't do this anymore.
And then would you tell the story? That's the story whenever they put that video of that guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead and tell that story.
So I ended up. I ended up going to jail.
Mhm.
I get out on pretrial release.
Yeah.
This is a federal case. I get out on pretrial release, and I don't go to court.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm on the run,
Mhm.
right? I meet my wife, and and she kind of knows about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So at that moment, we start serving God.
Yeah.
We become youth pastors. We went to go see a lawyer,
Yeah.
and I told my lawyer the case, and I didn't, I skipped court. And my lawyer at that time goes and checks and comes back and tells me, I already looked at the records. You don't have no search warrant. There's
Yeah.
no warrant. There's no warrant for your arrest.
Yeah.
He said, statute of limitation is passed.
Okay.
So you're good. So what did I do? I ended up working for, and being just, we ended up getting married, living a normal life for 10 years, right?
Wow.
For 10 years, I'm here serving God, preaching God's word.
Yeah.
Because I remember at this time, I'm just with a sincere heart. I'm following God.
Yeah.
And one day, the U.S. Marshals picked me up after 10 years.
Wow.
And that's the part that you were going into, right? I ended up going to jail. I ended up going to a federal prison. While I'm in there, I'm still waiting for my sentencing.
Yeah.
Right. And at this time, I'm in jail, and I'm preaching, and I'm in jail. So I kind of got upset at God.
Yeah.
I said, God, I can't believe you took me away from my family.
Yeah.
You took me away from my wife. I'm preaching your word, and you still take me away from that.
Yeah.
Not knowing that it was me that put myself in jail, not God.
Yeah.
So I'm the one that made the decisions in the past. So it wasn't even God. God had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I'm just there, and I'm mad at God. And then my wife, on one of the phone calls, she's like, "Don't blame God.
Yeah.
It was your decisions. You're the one that put yourself in there." So I came to understand that what I'll put myself in here. So there was days there that I was okay being there,
Yeah.
but there was days that I will miss my family, man.
Yeah.
So one day I'm in there, and this preacher shows up, right? And this preacher comes to where I'm at. At this point, I have given up on God.
Yeah.
I'm in jail. I've given up on God. It's like, man, I can't do nothing here in jail. And this preacher man comes in and comes up to me and tells me, "Hey, I want to invite you to church. Come and join us." And I'm just like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And then, excuse me. Then I felt conviction.
Yeah.
And so I get up and go to church that day. And that day, the preacher says, "I'm not going to preach today, but I'm going to show a video."
Yeah.
So it was a testimony that
Okay.
he showed. Right. So I'm sitting down in jail.
Yeah.
Right. Listening to this man's testimony. And, this man starts saying that he got caught selling drugs.
Yeah.
Went on the run. Started preaching God's word. And then after 7 years, the U.S. Marshals picked him up.
Yeah.
So this had my attention because that's the same story I had.
Yeah.
Right. I caught a case selling drugs. I went on the run.
Mhm.
10 years later, when I'm preaching God's word, the feds pick me up.
Yeah.
Exact same story.
Yeah.
Now you have to understand this, Ray, that out of every prison or every jail this video could have been at, right?
Yeah.
Ended up being in the jail that I was at.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about this is that when the testimony of this guy was over,
Mhm.
they showed his name,
Yeah.
and his name was Trinidad. That's my name.
Yeah.
So
Crazy. Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, how does this guy have the same testimony I do
Mhm.
in my name? And I'm watching him. I was in jail in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then all of a sudden, this video is right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. With this, at that moment, I fell to my knees.
Mhm.
I repented.
Yeah.
I asked God to forgive me for everything, for doubting, for being upset because
Yeah.
He took me out of my family and out
Yeah.
of the church. At that moment, I just fell to my knees, started crying to God, and said, "God, forgive me, Lord."
Yeah.
And something about this, Ray, is that in jail, you can't show weakness, you can't cry.
Mhm.
That's a no. But I fell to my knees and I'm crying. I say, "God, forgive me, God."
Yeah. Man.
And then they put that song, "I Surrender."
Mhm.
They put that song, "I Surrendered." I'm there crying, "I surrender, God."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, after 30 minutes, I get up and about 50 to 60 men that were there with me, they're all on the floor crying.
Wow.
The Spirit of God just showed up in
Yeah.
that room. And I look at the clock and it's about 9:30. The phones are about to be turned off. So I run to the phone and I'll call my wife. And she didn't pick up the first time, and
Yeah.
I redial again.
Yeah.
You're like, "Yeah, pick up the phone." And she picks up the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm crying. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Babe," and she goes, "What happened? Who beat you up?" She really thought that somebody had beat me up, And
Yeah.
she's like, "What happened? Who beat you up? Or what did they do to you?" I said, "No, let me tell you what happened.
Yeah.
I'm in this room. I'm listening to this testimony." And I told her the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I said, God is with us. God is still with us.
Yeah.
He hasn't forsaken us. He hasn't left us. And man, that was incredible right
Yeah.
there. I mean, that's the moment that my whole mindset just changed, and I said, I will never doubt God again.
Yeah.
In jail, check this out. In jail, when I was in there, people will come up to me at 6 a.m. People that were going to court that day to get
Yeah.
sentenced, and they would say, they will used to call me Padrecito. They say, "Padrecito, can you pray for me?" And I will pray for them, and then the Lord would give me a number, but I wouldn't give them the number right away.
Yeah.
So I would write it in a piece of paper and put it in my Bible, and they would go to court. When they would come back to court, they would tell me, they were like, "Man, they gave me 5 years." And that number that I wrote on the piece of paper was 5.
Yeah. Wow.
And God did that with 10 or 15 people.
Mhm.
He would just give me numbers 20. They would come back from court and they said, "Gave me 20 years."
Mhm.
I knew God had already told me the time they were going to do
Yeah.
before they even went to court.
Yeah.
I saw people that would get hurt, there in the jail cell playing handball.
Yeah.
And they will go and give me and say, "Padrecito, come and pray for this guy. He got hurt." And I will pray, and I will see God's hand move in a mighty powerful way. And I was like, "Man, God is doing something here."
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm missing my family,
Mhm.
right? So then I start praying. I say, "God, I need a miracle."
Yeah.
Right? I need a miracle, God. I need a miracle. I need you to come through. And what people need to understand, that in a federal prison, it's not about you having the best lawyer.
Yeah.
It's all about points there,
Okay.
right? So my points were like a 32. That minimum was 15 years.
Yeah.
Minimum. It doesn't matter what lawyer you had. It didn't matter, none of that. My lawyer comes in. He goes, "Man, get great news. Obama dropped 2 points." As when Obama was president, he dropped 2 points from the federal prisons.
Yeah.
So your year drops to 7, and I signed.
Yeah.
I said 7 years. I started adding up 80%. I called my wife. I said, "Babe, I signed for 7 years." Because Obama dropped 2 points, and my wife got mad. I thought she was gonna be happy. She got mad. She goes, "What did you do? By you signing 7 years, that means you're not trusting God for a miracle."
Yeah.
You're right. And so I started asking God again. I went back into my prayer closet there in jail. I said, "God, forgive me for not believing and trusting in you."
Yeah.
So time went by, and I finally went to court, about to get sentenced.
Mhm.
And when I was about to get sentenced, the DA asked to meet with the judge and my lawyer,
Yeah.
and they go up to the front on my sentencing day, and the DA had re-signed my case.
Wow.
And my lawyer comes back and says, the DA resigned.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, so what's next? He said, well, we got to find out what the judge is going to do.
Yeah.
So the judge stands up and says, we're going to have to reschedule his sentencing
Mm-hmm.
because the DA resigned. And the DA said, Judge, my job is to put Mr. Rodella behind bars for many, many years, but
Yeah.
I'm resigning out of his case.
Yeah.
Right? And he resigned. The judge wanted to move the date, and my lawyers didn't know that the decision had to be made that day because
Yeah.
I had already been waiting for a sentencing.
Yeah.
And the judge ended up giving me 15 months.
Wow.
I had already been in jail for 9 months.
Yeah.
So I only had to do 6 more months.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at God, bro.
Yeah.
And the favor, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, God just answered my prayer.
Yeah.
And then they told me that I'm going into a medium prison,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which is a high, medium, and low.
Yeah.
And I get to the prison, and I look at this big prison with barbed wires everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, I say, oh, no, man, this is scary. You know, this is something
Yeah.
I'll be watching. I had never been in jail. I never
Yeah.
been in prison. And then God shows up again.
Mm-hmm.
He says, you're not going to prison, you're going to a camp.
To camp. Yeah.
You know, so I end up going to a camp, you know, for 6 more months. Got out of jail, and I said, man, I'm not running from God anymore. I'm surrendering all to the Lord.
That's right. Yes.